Hello everyone. So we'll see today SQL clauses or more like select clauses. We'll see what is select and what are the four different clauses in it. The basic four different clauses in it. So first, the select statement. Now basically why do we use select statement in a database? Because basically the select statement is used to retrieve the data from the database. Okay. So the basic syntax, suppose I have a student table here and this table is having student number, student name, phone number, marks and student subject. So suppose I want to display all the data of the table. So how do you write the syntax basically is select star from table name. That is nothing but student. Select star from student. Display all the data from that particular table. Now suppose I want to retrieve the data of the student table, but I want to retrieve only the column. I want to retrieve only the column that is nothing but student number and his marks. I want to get the student number and his marks to be displayed as output. So how do you write the query for this? Select student number, comma student marks from student. So output you get 1, 95, 2, 65, 3, 48, 4, 30 and 5, 88. So here one more query where if you want to display the student name in the output, the query you have to write is select student name from student. Next, you have basic four clauses in select statement that they are where clause, group by clause, where clause, group by clause, order by clause and having clause. Now first is where clause. Where clause is basically used to filter out the data. Okay, that is nothing but some particular condition is given on that table and from that condition the rows which are required are displayed for that particular column. Suppose they want to display the name of the students whose marks is greater than 50. Let us go back to the main table. Suppose I want to display the marks of the students whose I want to display the name of the students whose marks is greater than 50. So how will write the query? Select student name, because I want to write in output, I want to get the name of the student. So student name from student where student marks is greater than 50. So what were the names which will be displayed? Andrew, because marks is 95, Sarah, since it's 65, then Annie, since marks is 88. So the marks less than 50, the names will not be displayed. So that is the output here, Andrew, Sarah and Annie. Next is group by clause. Now basically whenever we say group by clause, whenever we say group by clause, it is basically used, this group by clause is basically used with aggregate functions. Now what are the basic aggregate functions? It is count, max, min, sum, right? These are the aggregate functions. Now suppose, now whenever we do group by, group by is basically done on the columns. Okay, so whenever you use columns, basically it is used to apply the condition on the rows, sorry, on the columns. So suppose they want to get the count, they want to get the count of the students. Okay, they want to get the count of the student who are studying, okay, in each subject. Okay, that is nothing but, let us go back. Okay, there is subject, student major or student some course. So how many students have taken that particular course? Okay, the count of the students who have taken the particular course. Okay, that we should display in output. So here you have literature 3 times and maths 2 times. So how do you write the query to get the data? So in output, I need the count, and I need the student, major or the subject to be displayed. So how do you write it basically? Yes. Okay. So whenever there is a constraint, okay, there is a constraint or condition on a column, basically you have to use as a group by. So how do you write it? First select, first select, first select. Don't write what do you need to write in output. First you write just from select from table name, that is student, group by what condition they have given us. We have to group by student, major, subject, what subject the student is taking. Okay, the subject what student is taking, that we the column which they want us to give constraint, that column name we have to write. So what are we writing? Student, major, subject, because they asked us to display the count, okay, the count of the student for that particular subject. Okay, so we are doing group by column name. The column name is student underscore major subject. Now after writing this, next in output, what we need to display? We need to display the student number. Okay, so the count of student number, the count of student number, the count of student number, comma, subject, major, subject underscore major subject. We need to display this too. And one more thing is, in group by, whenever you use group by on that particular column, that column name only should be displayed in output. That's what we use aggregate functions. Why? Because suppose here we have done group by student, major, subject, and the condition of group by is whenever you are using that particular column, only that particular column output is displayed. If you try to use some other column to display, it won't display your output. So what you can do is, with the help of aggregate functions, you can display that column, other columns other than the one which is group by. That's what you use aggregate functions basically. Because the condition of group by is, whenever you are performing group by on any particular column, only that column can be displayed in output. No other columns can be displayed. And if you want to display any other column, whenever you are performing group by, you can do it with help of aggregate functions. That's what aggregate functions are important whenever you're using a group by. Okay, so literature, the number of students, count of the student is 3. So count, what it does, it counts the number of students, basically the number. Okay, it doesn't do sum, it just count. The next is max is 2. That's what you're getting output. Next is having clause. Now having clause is basically a constraint on group by. Okay? Having clause is constraint on group by. What happens is, where clause is a constraint directly on table, whereas group by, what we are doing is we are giving constraint on that particular column. Okay? A particular column we are giving constraint to get the data from it. And having is a constraint on that group by. Now let us see an example for that. We have seen in previous, suppose let me just say this previous example, we have seen that in output we have taken the count. We have taken the count of the students who have enrolled in different subjects. Okay. Now suppose I want to apply having constraint on it. Okay, so what can I write here extra? The same thing, select from table name, group by student, major, subject. Okay, having count, having count. That's what it's written here. Having count of student dot number, having count of student dot number which is greater than 2. Okay, which is greater than 2. Which is greater than 2. So what basically it will display? It will display only in output only the count which is greater than 2. And so what it will display? What constraint we have given here? We have given constraint is greater than 2. So this will be displayed? Mathematics, it won't be displayed. Only the first row will be displayed. That is nothing but having is a constraint on group by. In group by, what we are doing? We want to display the count of the students who have enrolled for courses. What are the courses they have enrolled? Okay, so count of each student for each course. Okay, so what we do, we apply group by on that particular column, that is course column. Here it is student major subject column, and with that column we check the count. And how we do that? Since we are giving constraint on the column, we are using group by. So select from student. First you write select, give some space, from student, group by student major subject. Now after that what more we need in output? What we need to display? We need to display the count of student number. Okay, the count of student number comma with student major subject also. I need the count with what is the subject name. Okay, so that is group by. Now if I say having, suppose here in output, okay good, I have got group by, I've got what are the courses and how many students are there. Now suppose I'm giving a condition for this group by. On this group by, I want the count of students. Okay, I want the database to display me the subjects which is having count greater than 2. So what I have to write here? Having count of subject number greater than 2. That's what we are writing. Select from student, group by student major subject, having count of student number greater than 2. And in output, count of student number and student major subject. That's what you get. The output is 3 and that is language. Next is order by clause. Now basically, whenever we say order by clause, it basically means either order the result in ascending order or in descending order. By default, if you don't specify the order, okay, you just write order by for that particular column, order by. What happens is it will do in ascending order. By default, it is an ascending order. Suppose let me take, I want to display the name of the students. Okay, I want to display the name of the students where students marks is greater than 50 and order by student marks. Now what does this say? So what I want to display? I want to display this only the student name from the table student where student marks is greater than 50. Okay, so by default you will be having Andrew, Sarah and Annie. So let us go back to see this. Okay, so here what happens? It is saying, the query is saying us, it wants to display all the names whose of the students whose marks is greater than 50. So what it will display? It will display Andrew, Sarah and Annie. And what was the next condition? What was the next condition? Order by on marks. Order by on marks. And it has not given if it is ascending or descending. And whenever if they don't specify if it is ascending or descending, by default it is in descending order. Okay, so which one is the least here? Ascending is from lower to higher. So least is 65. So first in output, Sarah will be displayed. Next is Annie. And the last one is with the highest marks, Andrew. Okay, so let us see. Okay, it's the same thing. Sarah, Annie and Andrew. So this is nothing but order by clause. So thank you for this.